You can see immediately that this system has found tons of items that can be purchased at a retail store and resold on Amazon for a profit. So what I'm covering is a system that downloads and discovers these items, gives you what your cost is, what it's selling for, the profit, how much velocity there is, how much competition, whether Amazon is on the system, and literally gives you hundreds of items with everything that you need to source, including the retail and Amazon links side by side to compare the items. And you can see there are excellent, good, average, poor, and the nice thing is with the automated scraping, you can generate these lists on your own on demand. So what this is a web-based software sourcing tool that downloads information from retail stores such as Black Friday sales, clearances, coupons, things along those lines, compares those products directly to Amazon, and shows you exactly which ones are profitable that you can purchase for retail and online arbitrage. To get started, you simply go to scraper.sdcdeals.com. You click on the My Account tab, and you can see at the bottom it says Get Started. You create a free account. You simply click the link, put in your email and your name. You get a login that you can set your password, and you get 1,000 products to try out for the scraping. If you already have an account like I do, you can simply log in with the account, and then it gives you the details of your account. So the login is successful. So if I refresh this page, you can see that if I go to the My Account tab, we currently have these 30 stores that are in the system where you can essentially scrape any product from any one of these stores as long as you can search for them. So if I was using Kohl's as an example, I'll show you what that looks like. And then we have the pay as you go, where you can have a number of products that you can scrape. And then actually submitting a job is as easy going to the Submit a Job tab. And I'll go through that really quick. So let's look at Kohl's as a retailer as an example, but this works again with a bunch of other retailers. So if you're doing online and retail arbitrage, we're getting ready for Black Friday, you're looking for items to resell on Amazon, this is a great opportunity. There's going to be a crazy number of sales, clearances, Black Friday deals, all of that. You can see here clearance. So example, if I click this clearance banner, it's going to bring up a search. And you can see right now they have over 5,476 products on clearance right now at Kohl's. Now, if I wanted to see, could I buy this Mr. Coffee at a clearance price and resell it on Amazon for a profit, I would have to click into here. I would have to search for it on Amazon. I'd have to bring it up side by side. It would take a long time. I'm not even sure it would be the exact same model. But with the scraping and sourcing tool, it will download all this information. So let me click this as an example because it's a great example of variance. So when I mean download the information, I'm talking about every single color, every single size of this one product. So this counts as one product. It's one URL. But if I go here, it gets literally every single one of these, and it's going to compare those to Amazon and show me exactly which ones are profitable that I could buy at this clearance price, list and resell on Amazon, assuming I'm ungated, and go through there. And the nice thing is with this search, I can literally tell it how many products I want. So if you think of each one of these as a single product, and you get 1,000 products to start, you could be downloading a ton of information. Nothing else is required other than creating that free account. And then essentially you get what is this, which is the sheet that has all the information. And not only that, when you go through that process and you create this sheet that's just for you, you're not sharing it with anybody, it's not shared with other people. You're telling it the criteria, the brands, the departments that you want from which stores. And then you simply click into here, which is the Smart Analyzer, and it's going to give you all this information. So it's going to show you which are the excellent products, and it's going to rate that based on 10, 20, 30 different indicators of why it thinks it's a good item to buy at the retail and sell on Amazon. So if I click this Champion Navy pullover as an example, what it's telling me is that I can buy this at $41 after Kohl's Cash or discounts. I can resell it on Amazon currently for $77.87. That means I would make on this one item $24.69 or a 59% ROI. I'm not competing with Amazon. They're not on the listing. If they are on the listing, they're out of stock 44% of the time. So there's a good chance even if Amazon comes on, they'll stock out. Kohl's has 28 of these in stock that I could purchase from. The item itself has gotten over 64,000 reviews for that total listing. And then this single variant, that navy blue medium, has gotten 1,477 of those reviews. And so we're estimating 368 for this single variant that would sell on Amazon, and that gives it a score of 93. We're also tracking things like how many rank drops, so an indication that something has sold is the sales rank will drop. And then the number of reviews, that's where we get the velocity of 368. We also see that there's 28 units available and that we have that Amazon not on the listing. So it also will give us a recommendation. So looking at the two-part sourcing, it's saying, okay, this is good. This is 60% ROI, $24.69 profit. And because it's selling 368 per month, it's considered high velocity. So it's saying, the recommendation, this is something that you can buy deep on. You can buy 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 of these, and you would sell them through within about 30 to 45 days, which isn't bad at all. And it also gives you the links here. So if I click buy, it brings up the link. And if I go back there to that same one and I click Amazon, you'll see these bring them up side by side to the exact listing. So there's no ambiguity. It matches the exact listing 99% of the time. You can see this is navy. If I'm looking at it, standard, medium, color navy. And then on Kohl's, it is navy and it's medium. So it's the exact same product. So right now with this sale, it's saying I could get this for $40 if I apply that coupon. They also have Kohl's Cash, which is about another $7 or $8 off. So I'm looking at a buy cost of say $33. And then you can see on here, the people that are selling this right now, they're selling it for $59 or $65. So if I were to plug, that $65 with shipping and I plugged in a $33 buy cost, you can see that's the 49% ROI, $16 profit at this current price point. And then you can look at Keepa below. This is where it's showing you, hey, look, when Amazon's on the listing, they have a pretty good price, but look what happens when they sell out. Immediately that price jumps. So it's been as expensive as $85, $78, $41, and then now it's back up to around $77. So you can see here, you can still vet the product. You can see that it doesn't have a lot of competition. When Amazon was on the listing, they were selling a ton. You can see all these different rank drops here as it's going down. And then as we get down here, the number of sellers is low and we still have a really good sales rank, and it's still, you can see the number of drops. So this item is selling fairly well. And that's just a single item found through the Smart Analyzer. And again, you have all of these items here. This particular one that I ran found 44,000 different items that were on Amazon that I could also purchase at Kohl's. A majority of them are not profitable. That's fine. But look how many that I can source. So I can source these 127 that are considered excellent. These ones are good at 305. And again, it gives you all the details that you want to know. How many reviews, how many times has that product been reviewed? What is the velocity on that item? And, you can see the profit. So it's 73% profit or 73% ROI. That's really good. $20 profit, good velocity. Again, scale up. The ones that are ranked good may have a little bit lower. Maybe they have fewer reviews. So this one again is saying the profit isn't as great as it's under 50%, but it still has high velocity. And again, saying scale up. So the nice thing about this tool is that you do not need any experience. You don't need any other systems. You simply come into this tool, register the account, and then it shows you which retail stores. So if I picked a different store, say I wanted to do Target, I could go to target.com And again, they have Halloween sales. They're going to be having pre-Black Friday sales. They'll have clearance. They'll have other savings. If I want to download the products, I can choose a particular category like electronics, for instance. And as long as it comes in here and I can then pick a category. Let's say I wanted to do top rated technology, right? So now it gives me these results. This is basically what I'm looking for. Anything that has search results, I could download and then compare. So what I would do is I could filter this additionally. So if I want to sort these by, say, best selling, I could do that. So I'm looking at the ones that have the best velocity. I could sort by price, brand. I can do category, rating, all of those things. Once I'm ready and I want to download these, so it gives me that sheet, I simply copy this URL at the top, and then I will go back to the scraping tab, go to My Jobs, submit a job. I go to Target. I say I have this one from Target. I'm going to paste that URL, and then it's asking for the number of pages and discount to apply. So if I go back to Target, you can see at the bottom, this had a total of 50 pages that I could get from this one search. And it has about 24 products per page. So if you see that, 24 products per page, if I wanted to do, say, 10 pages, it's telling me that's going to use 240 products of my 1,000 that I start with. And of course, I have more than that on my account, but if you create that free account, that's what you start with. So it would deduct that 240 products, but then you would get a sheet. And when that's done, you can see what this looks like here. Once it's complete, then you simply do send to AI Analyzer, and that's going to automatically load that sheet that you created for yourself. And then again, it's going to give you all the data within that sheet so that you could then go analyze products down here. And now you're starting with this. This is a smaller scrape. You can still see plenty of items on here, and it could be any different category. It doesn't have to be clothing, shoes. It could be electronics. It could be supplements. It could be games. It could be toys. It could be grocery. There's just a ton of different things. Anything that you can search for, you could then download and create this list on Amazon. One other thing that I'll show you is within this, we have these smart tools. The other one is the ungating analyzer. So if I go back to my jobs and I say, okay, this was a good one, I'm going to send to ungating. Now, maybe I want to find new brands that I can use to get ungated on Amazon, but I want to find brands that are reseller friendly. So I don't want to pick a brand that I'm going to get a letter or an IP complaint or a trademark claim, even if I'm able to get ungated. So again, it automatically loads. I pick on here and it shows me all the brands that were in this sheet, and it rates them based on reseller activity so that you can get a general idea. Is this a reseller friendly brand or not? So if I use Nunn Bush as an example, of the listings in the spreadsheet that I created, the highest amount of offers on one of those listings is 15, which is usually a really good indicator that there are plenty of other resellers on that listing. There's also 1,334 listings for Nunn Bush that have over 5 offers. Again, a very good indicator that the brand itself is either not selling it or they don't care, or Amazon's on there, but they don't go after third-party sellers. The average right now of all those is 6 offers. And I can check on Amazon. I can spot check this. So if I bring this up, it's going to bring up Nunn Bush. And I can see on this listing, there's 6 other sellers. And then when I click that, I can then check and see, okay, are these established sellers, or are some of these, like this, like J. Valentine or whatever, that only has 23 ratings? That's obviously a reseller. So you can then look at that. So if I go back to the ungating, it gives you different links that you can check, kind of spot check those things. But in general, it's going to show you ones that are highly recommended and versus ones that are poor. So if I look at one here as an example, this one, the reason it's saying it's poor, it's not necessarily that they would go after you, but look at this. Of the offers that are on here, 0 have more than 5 sellers. The average is only 2 sellers, and the peak is 4. So you have to be careful. Like maybe this brand is selling it, or they don't want other people. So again, you can just click that link and open it and then check. IP alert will tell you whether or not this is, been flagged previously. But then you can also look at Keepa. You can see that the sellers are pretty low. You can look at the other sellers to see is the brand on here. Right now, this is sold primarily by third parties, but these are pretty well established. So the idea with the ungating, especially if you run larger scrapes, you're going to have a lot more brands to choose from, but you'll be able to find brands that you may not even know of necessarily. Like this one here, maybe you don't know of this one, but it's saying it's high confidence that you could resell it because there's 594 that have more than 5 offers. The average is 7 and the peak is 10. If I click that, maybe I'm finding a brand that I didn't even know, with this one, looks like they have shoes, that I can now say, okay, I'm not approved, but I could click that and request approval to sell. Maybe I'll get auto ungated. If not, it'll tell me I need 100 units on this one, so I probably won't do that. But you might be able to find ones that auto ungate you, or maybe they only want 10. The nice thing about the brand ungater also shows you the lowest cost item you can use for that. So especially if you're doing grocery or toys or things like that, you'll probably find things that are less than $10. Maybe they only need 10 units. So you're looking at like $100 to try to get ungated in a brand. So that's the brand ungater. Again, these are both built in. As soon as you run scrapes, you get the completed scrape is emailed to you, but you can also come back into here in My Jobs and download the results. What that looks like is you actually will get a spreadsheet. So when you download the results and you click open, this will open a spreadsheet. It's not the AI analyzer, but the nice thing about this is it will allow you to do filtering and things like that. So if I bring it over here, you can see what this looks like when I enable editing. So again, this is kind of the raw data. It does have the links and all the information. The nice thing that I like if you are sorting on the sheet is it has a lot of these columns here. So it has a lot of information, reviews, drops, number of offers, availability, things like that, that you can look at. But then you could also come in here and start filtering. So if I wanted to see what are the top items on here, other than this top row, it'll show you the highest ROI. Maybe I only want to see items that have, at least some sales rank. I could remove the blanks. So if you're experienced with Excel and you're comfortable doing filters and sorting, then you could certainly look at a sheet like this and still find these really good offers and things like that. And then again, all you have to do is click the Amazon link. It's going to open that, and then the retail link, and then, it's going to take you to that exact product. This is a Nike shoe that's now been regated, but you can see it's the exact same shoe when it updates. It'll look like that black color here, and it's the exact same shoe. You just verify you're at the right size. So this is 11 and 11. So you can see right now I could buy this for $65 before Kohl's Cash. It sells on Amazon if I was allowed to for $70. So this particular one wouldn't be a great fit, but you get the idea. It makes sourcing very easy. So what I would say as a summary is if you're using this tool, you simply go to scraper.sdcdeals.com. You have these stores that you can choose from. We're adding a lot more. By the time Black Friday comes around, this should probably double in size, but you can see we have all different types of retailers on here, from Target, Walmart, Kohl's, Lowe's, Home Depot. We have Nike, GameStop, Best Buy, Vitacost, iHerb, all of those, Macy. So again, a lot to choose from, and you can essentially download and compare that to Amazon using this tool. Any products that you can search for, it's as simple as that. We do have guided coaching if you're interested. Maybe you're just starting out, you want to see how to maximize this tool. We do offer one-on-one coaching, but it's definitely not required, especially if you're using that AI analyzer. It'll show you exactly what you need. If you go through that 1,000 products and you need to purchase more, you have the option of purchasing the amount of products that you want to scrape, and you can see it's not super expensive. Depending on how many you want to scrape. Obviously, the more products you have, in a sheet, the more, it's going to be able to sort and filter to the best ones, but by no means is it required to do, 40, 50,000 products or anything along those lines. The other thing that I mentioned before is when you're looking at this one URL is considered one product. But again, in that sheet, I'm going to get several hundred lines because I'm getting every single color, every single size that is going to be matched to that exact same variant on Amazon. So you'll get a lot more rows on your sheet for one product if you're scraping items with a lot of variants. If you're doing something like kitchen items or something like, they may have different colors, but in general, these don't have a ton of variation. So if I click on any of these, like you can see, it may only have one or two variations, but it's still going to get that exact product and compare it to Amazon as long as it's on Amazon, and you'll be able to find which ones are profitable. So in Q4, the things that you want to be looking for are these Black Friday sales. We're just about hitting November, so they're going to be all over the place. You don't want to spend your time storefront stocking, looking at products one by one. There's going to be literally hundreds of sales. The best products are going to sell out quickly. So you need a tool like this that can just download all those products, give it to you in a list, sort by which ones are the best, and then from there you have unlimited number of things essentially that you're going to be able to source. You'll probably run out of money to buy things far before you will items to be to purchase. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, highly recommend that you give this a try. And thanks again for watching.